Hello, everyone. I'd like to talk to you today about time. Time is a very interesting thing. It's not what we think it to be. For example, time is relative to the observer. So contemplate this for a minute. Right now, where I am, the sun is shining, and our idea of time says, well, it's morning because our side of the planet, or this rock that we're living on, which is spinning through space, just happens to be facing a star, a ball of gas, that we have termed and labeled our sun. Now, on the other side of the world, right now, in this moment, that's not facing that star, we call it nighttime. But in reality, is the moment any different? We're all on the same tiny rock at the very same exact moment in time, just facing a different direction. So time is relative to what we're observing, either facing the star or not. Those of us that are facing the star, again, we call it morning time. Others that are not facing the star, we call it nighttime. But again, we're all existing on the same rock at the same exact moment in time, just facing a different way, observing a different experience. Now, we call the passing of time one day when our side of the planet makes one complete turn on its axis. So if we're facing the sun, and then it rotates around through nighttime and goes back to facing the sun again, we say one day of time has passed, or 24 hours have passed. Now, we call a portion of time 1 year when this tiny rock that we're on makes one complete orbit or one circle around the star that we call a sun. And so it goes from one place, starts at one place, goes around this ball of fire, and comes back to the place where it started, and we say 1 year has passed, or 365 days have passed. But now I ask you this. If there is life throughout this universe, is time going to be the same for all beings everywhere? Of course it's not. If there is someone living in some very far away galaxy or some other planet somewhere, do you think that they're looking out of some telescope at the rock that we just happen to call planet Earth in order to calculate their time? Do you think that while they're looking through this telescope that they're saying to themselves or each other, okay, that little rock has made one orbit around that star and is back at the point where I was observing, so 1 year has passed, Happy New Year? Definitely not. This idea that time is going to be completely different for them. So time is really this man-made construct or concept which is relative to the observer, so we're observing our sun, basing that on time, and it's a way for us to organize life. But it does not exist as we think it does. Even this idea that time is linear, that time is moving from point A to point B, that's not true at all. We are not moving from past to future. In reality, a whole other fallacy is the idea that past and future even exist. The truth is they are illusionary. They are not real, at least speaking in terms of the reality of things. Now, they exist in terms of mental concepts, but not true reality. Now, you might be saying to yourself, oh, wait a minute, just hold on. Because I know the past exists. Because, I got up this morning and I maybe had some breakfast and there were things that I had to do and there was things that I've done earlier today. And I know that there's going to be a future because, I'm going to be doing something later, or I'm got to go run some errands, or I'm going to be doing something tomorrow. Well, yes, that may be true. You're right in a sense, but you're wrong in terms of time. And you're wrong in terms of reality. Past and future seem real, but they are just mental creations. They're mental concepts. In truth, though, they are non-realities. The only thing which exists, truly exists, is this present moment. This is the true reality. This is the only true time. This is the only moment we're fully alive in. The present moment is all that there really is. And all we're doing is living in the eternal, unending, timeless present moment. Because when you were doing things earlier in your day or yesterday, that was not the past. That was the present moment. And when you go and run your errands later this afternoon or whatever you're doing this evening or tomorrow, that again is not your future. That again will be the present moment. All that we have is now. Sometimes I hear people say that the present moment is infinitely small, like it's always changing, it's always passing, it's always moving on. But the truth is that it's always here. It's always the present moment. It's always now. There's nothing other than that. Oh, wait, what time is it? Oh yeah, it's now again. And so, not recognizing the truth about time and not being present to the moment that we are living in, when the mind is sort of off, maybe dwelling in the past or off projecting into thoughts of the future, that is actually causing so much of our mental, emotional, and spiritual pains, suffering, and troubles. Now, this is why meditation is such an important practice. Meditation helps to cultivate present moment awareness by staying focused on or paying attention to the breath, a mantra, or whatever the object may be. When we're staying present to that, we're staying in this moment. So how does not being present to the only true time cause trouble for us? Cause us suffering and misery and all these other things? Well, not being present creates unnecessary suffering in our lives by creating and bringing us unhealthy negative states. Remember, past and future are not real. They are non-realities. They exist actually nowhere but in the mind. The past is a non-reality that is now referred to as memory. And the default state of our mind is that when it goes back to dwell on the past and live in memories, it is not going back to really think about all the wonderful things and all the possible blessings that have happened in our lives. The mind, when it projects back and goes to dwell in the past, it goes to often think about the majority of the time all the things we're upset about, things that we regret, things that we're depressed about, things that we're angry about. And so typically it goes back and begins to create a negative experience or a negative emotion or a negative state of mind in the present moment experience. It begins to disrupt our present moment experience. So remember, the past is gone. It's over. There's nothing that we can actually do about it except learn from it. We are definitely supposed to be learning from our past. We're not supposed to be dwelling there and living there, but we are supposed to be learning from the past so that we don't make the same mistakes over and over again, and so that we can make better choices in the present moment. By having a past experience that turned out bad, we now know where that will lead if we do the same thing over and over again. Now, on the flip side, this time idea that we call our future is also unreal. It's illusionary, and it's known as fantasy or imagination. And so when the mind goes to project into the future, it's creating this mental scenario that we're imagining, and it's thinking about this thing that it thinks is going to happen. And so sadly, when the mind goes to project into the future, it's not going to think about all the blessings that are coming our way, but again, rather it begins to think about all the things that it thinks you need to be stressed out about, all the things that you need to worry about. You know, it goes to think like, well, what if this goes wrong? Or what if that goes wrong? Or what if this happens? And I got to prepare for this. And it's just a constant what if, that it gets us into a very anxious and nervous and restless state. And it again ruins our present moment experience. So once again, the mind creates this negative sort of present moment experience in the only time we're alive in, which is now. When we meditate, we clearly see that 99% of the time the mind is off in these mental scenarios of past or future. It is rarely living totally present to this reality, totally present to what's happening right here and now. Now, this doesn't mean we don't plan for the future. Of course we do, because And the truth is that we are co-creators of our future. But how we actually create our next present moment is by paying attention to what we are doing right here, right now, in this moment. It's what we do in this present moment that we are alive in right now. The thoughts that we think, the words that we speak, the actions that we take, which set in motion the effects that bring to us the consequence that we have termed, labeled, or called the future. So remember, time is relative. All that we have is now. So make the most of this moment. And if we want to create a better future, we need to be present as possible and pay attention to what we are doing individually, collectively as a community, collectively as a country, and collectively as one human race. That's where we need to focus our attention. I thank you for your time. If you enjoyed this topic, please give it a thumbs up, a like, or share it with those who might be interested. If you aren't already a subscriber to this channel, you can subscribe below, and by doing that, you'll stay up to date on any new posts that do come out. And if you have any questions, or if you have any ideas on topics that you would like me to possibly discuss in a future post, then please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section below. I hope you all have a blessed and beautiful day, and as always, may each and every one of your days truly be filled with an abundance of love, happiness, and peace.